Howdy, I'm Jo from Spaghetti Agency. This is Todd from Spaghetti Agency. We're both directors. Todd's responsible for fixing everything and the IT side of things, as well as the marketing and sales.
Yeah, Jo's in charge of spotting everything that's wrong with the business, including everything that I do, because you're a meticulous, down to the details kind of person. So we've been going about 10 years,
Yeah.
But we actually started with training. That was our thing when we started.
Yeah,
wasn't
we
it?
both really enjoy training, so we started off doing that. COVID and the lockdowns sort of made a bit of a dent in that. We decided to move more into the retained services. So now the majority of what we do is creating content for retained clients on a monthly basis, but then we also do things like website projects where we help people with their content and that side of things.
Spaghetti Agency's approach to marketing is no bull, just beef, because I think that's why we started the business, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of cowboys out there, but not the right kind of cowboys.
Yeah.
Kind of ripping people off a little bit, making money out of them, onto the next client, onto the next client, onto the next client, not necessarily focusing on the quality that we like to stick to, and not necessarily focusing on the client relationships that are really important to us. So we wanted to be different, and hopefully we achieved that with our brand.
The other key thing about Spaghetti Agency is we walk the walk. So if you look at our marketing, if you look at our social media, if you look at our branding, like, we really mean it. And I look at a lot of other marketing agencies, but you're just not walking the walk. Your social media sucks, and your email marketing is rubbish, and you're not blogging enough, and your website doesn't rank on Google. And I thought there must be a better way of doing it. So everything we deliver to our clients is something that we do for ourselves, and most of our clients really, really value that, and that's actually why they choose us.
We partnered with Magnetar IT to help us implement the Zoho system. Having Magnetar IT as our partner in this has been absolutely invaluable. I don't think we'd have had the time to have done it by ourselves. I don't think we'd have had the knowledge to have done it by ourselves. Before Zoho came along, life was a little bit more chaotic than it is at the moment. We had a lot of different apps, a lot of different information
So
in
many
different
apps.
places.
We collected software.
We did.
Let's add this one in. How many apps do you need? 5. That's fine.
We probably should have done the Zoho migration probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, everything that's in Zoho on subscription now we had separately with separate companies, and we just sort of collected more and more, because most companies just specialise in one thing. They're all great in their own right, but
They didn't talk to
each other. It was like
There was a lot of
constant arguments.
Yes.
Digital arguments.
Yeah, there was a
fell out
lot
with
of
each other.
double entry.
So
and
much,
You
yeah.
had to put something there, and then you also had to manually put it somewhere else.
But it was really a case of, we went to Magnetar and said, help, this is what's happening.
Here's all our stuff.
Here was a thing we created, and they're like, oh wow, this is really great, but we can probably put all of this in somewhere else. And they asked us, specifically, what did we need to happen? I said, we need it not to keep breaking. We need it to stop falling apart. Things need to talk to each other. And so Zoho One was the obvious choice, because it's got this suite of apps all together. They're not linked with something like Zapier. They are partnered. They are together. So we didn't need to keep nurturing it and feeding it and fixing it and everything else. So that's how it came about. Zoho is just there, it's working, and it actually gives us ideas as well. And when you start looking at how much we cost all the team out per hour, it's saving us thousands, isn't it? Easily.
Yeah, sure.
It's definitely paid for itself and more.
I think the acid test was when our new colleague joined us in January. She came from a background of working at Aston Martin. She was very used to their systems, and she was really impressed when she joined us, because she saw how slick everything was and how easy it was for her to be able to do her job and make the bookings, and so that we could speak to our clients.
My name is Rafeal. I'm the director and founder of Magnetar IT. So we first got in contact with Spaghetti Agency just through collaborating and networking through amongst a similar network of people. Through conversations and understanding what it is that they had, Todd eventually approached us to say, hey, look, we've got this going on. We'd like for you guys to review our systems and see what there is that you could do. One of Todd or Spaghetti Agency's requirements was to start to bring everything down into one roof, rather than having multiple or several different applications. And that's when the tech solutions team started to decide, well, Zoho fits that biggest requirement or that biggest pain point that the customer had. And that's when we started to explore other options, and there was no other suite of tools that fit better than Zoho did.
Zoho CRM is the first place we go. It's where all of our information is. It's the first place we go for an answer. It's literally the hub of our business. So all of our marketing is fed into there. Our clients are fed into there. Our documents, our systems, our processes, our sales. Like, if we could make a cup of coffee with Zoho, we would. I think we've just literally integrated it in. I always wanted something to be the center of our world, and that's what Zoho CRM has done for us. Yeah, so I love the Kanban view. We're very visual here, so I like to be able to view where the opportunities are, what stages they're at. I'm quite particular with the team to make sure that they name the opportunity correctly, so I can even see without clicking into it what's there. A big thing for me moving from where the CRM where we were before is that I can look at the sales pipeline overall and just look at where the business is at, see how much potential there is, financial, but also how close we are to some deals finishing. And also then see whether there's tasks associated and calls booked. One of the main things I look for when I look at the opportunity pipeline is which ones haven't got a call booked, because for me that's a red flag, because everyone should have a call booked, and yeah, that view is just perfect for me for that. We've also done like daft things like made the pipeline with different colours that match the colours that we think should be right for each stage, and I've just found out today you can change the backgrounds as well, so I'm all over that as soon as I finish this. I'm going to change all the colours of it as well, because the team like it to be personalised, because yeah, it's completely our system. So I suspect if I got into someone else's Zoho, it would be like borrowing someone's car. You wouldn't be able to drive it, like, where's all the stuff? Because I've made it all of our own. But yeah, it's absolutely perfect, and it will continue to be personalised as well. We're very big on the sales process, and I'm also very big on processes themselves. So we use Better Proposals, which is a proposal software, which is really great. But what we found with the system we had before is that they weren't really linked together, and we'd forget to create a proposal, or we'd have to go looking for the proposal. So we got the guys at Magnetar to just build us a little button in the CRM, at the top right, we just click create a proposal. You can only click that button at a certain part of the process as well, which is what I wanted to do. But as soon as that button's pressed, it creates a little link in the opportunity. So whenever we're working with that opportunity, we can just click the link, it opens the proposal, and there it is right there. The main pain point it's solved is A, we don't forget to create a proposal, B, we don't have to go looking for it anymore, and it actually makes it easier for the rest of the team to go find that as well. So it's again just bringing everything together, making it easier to access in one place. So one thing we really wanted to make sure we did was bring in emails. Really important. We do a lot of email communications, as most companies do, but we also wanted to make sure that we knew whether we'd phoned someone, because so often we'll go into a client into the CRM and be like, well, when did we last speak to this person? Have we called them? Have you called them? And it sounds silly, but sometimes we'd call them twice or email them twice, and we're only a small team, but I wanted it to feel like on the other end that we knew what was going on. So Magnetar made sure that we've linked in Vonage, which is our phone system, and Office 365, which is our email system. So if I go into a client, I can see every phone call in and out and every email in and out, which is really important. Zoho enables me to see where the customers come from, where they are in the journey, what they're up to. So we had a really interesting scenario the other week where the phone rang in the office in Vonage, so it automatically dropped that details into the CRM. So I was able to look whilst the phone call was still happening and see, well, who is that? Because I'm kind of inquisitive, and I was like, what's going on? Oh, it's someone that's been on our emails for a couple of years. They've opened quite a lot of our emails recently, which I can see through SalesIQ and through campaigns. Well, they're really interested at the moment. The person who's phoning isn't the person who's opening the emails, it's their CEO. Great, they've obviously referred us within the business. And then I can see the opportunity drop in as the call's happening, and then the booking comes in, and I can see all this happening kind of in real time. But also on a monthly and weekly basis, we can see, well, where does business come from? What's that natural journey? How important is blogging in our business? It's huge. So the dashboard enables me to see how many opportunities we've got open, which ones are due to be closed soon, the best lead source, which is really important if we're having a marketing conversation, how many tasks are overdue, who's overdue more, usually me, and then to start to see what's going on in there. We also got plans in the future to start bringing in some of the stuff from Trello to see how many cards are being created and finished. So it's just this really top-down kind of CEO view that I always wanted. We've also got one for the team, one for us. So Joe and I have got a manager's one, and the team have got their own one just for their own tasks and their own thing. So a really great thing about Zoho is you can keep changing your mind and customize things. So we had a decision recently whether we wanted to put the disc profile in there, but we also wanted to put their SharePoint link in there. So we're a content agency, all of the content lives in SharePoint, and rather than have to go into SharePoint, find the client and get the right client, we just put the link in a little drop-down field in there, and we've done the same for their Trello board as well, and I'm sure we'll be doing the same for other things in the future. But you go there, you can find everything to do with that client in one place. It's been business changing, honestly, it really has. We looked around the obvious things like HubSpot. We were very much guided towards Zoho by Magnetar. What I really like about Zoho is it's so customizable, that you can do so much with it. So we've we've absolutely made it our own. So yeah, I'm really pleased we found it. Some people don't have a CRM. I don't even know how they even open their business in the morning. And secondly, how many people just put up with a really poor CRM, and I guess that was me a few years ago. For me, the CRM, every business should have a CRM, every business should have a CRM that works for them, be that Zoho or another, but making sure it works for you, not the other way around. What we've done with bookings is create lots of different services, I think they're called in Zoho. So we have a specific way that we do the sales process. So Joe will have a call with someone first, we'll decide whether they're right for us, and they'll go through a particular process. And we've built services, calls for each one of those. Some are phone calls, some are Zoom bookings. So we've used bookings, we've hooked it up with Zoom, so that when we booking calls, it creates the Zoom meeting, so it's all set, it pops it into Office 365, so I can literally go from call to call to call. I'm in the right place, in the right Zoom room, with the right information, one after another, which is perfect. We've also created more of a public link as well, so to save Lynn, my assistant, time, if someone says, great, I'd like to speak to you about XYZ service, we're like, brilliant, click here, book yourself in a call, and we've set the parameters around that for particular days and times that Joe, who takes those calls, will want to take those calls. And obviously Office 365 will block those out. So it's saved us loads of time, rather than playing what I call email tennis, where you're like, I've got Thursday at 5 and Tuesday at 2, like, here's a link, but it's only this link. You can't have that link or that link because we haven't qualified you yet. So we've actually built bookings into our sales pipeline, and I hate to say this to potential leads, but you only get one link. You don't get this link, you get this one, and that's particular days and times. So we're just starting to move now towards diary blocking. So we do sales calls on certain days, Zooms on other days, and of course in bookings we'll just go in there and change the settings for it. Having bookings has firstly saves Lynn, my assistant, so much time. I'm not going backwards and forwards with tons of call options, and also by the time the client comes back, of course that call's gone. So it's much better, it's quicker, it's live, it's working much better. We're certainly getting more calls, we're getting the calls in quicker. It's not helping me because my diary is super full with sales calls now, but I guess that's a good thing. But no, it's been brilliant to use. Yeah, so a really key thing for me, moving from the original booking software that we used, is that the customers get reminders about their booking, because when diaries get full, if someone doesn't turn up for a meeting, I mean, sometimes people just forget. And what I've realised is that most people, you might be this type of person, I don't know, just wait for the reminder and click the link from that reminder. So it was really important that I could set, say, a 30-minute reminder, which I've done with bookings. So when someone books a call with us now, they get the initial confirmation, then they get one 24 hours before, and they get one half an hour before. And that's been really, really important to make sure that, well, hardly anyone forgets a call with us. And actually some people comment, wow, you really wanted me to make this call. And we've personalised all the emails, also all of those things are personalised around our brand, because we can go in there and change all those email responses. But it's just so important to us because time is very valuable to us. We're really busy at the moment, so we're very grateful for it. But if people don't turn up to calls, it's like, oh man, I could have got someone else in here for this call. So yeah, having those reminders is very powerful. And we're only using the email reminders at the moment as well, so we might look at doing the text next. So we've also made sure that bookings is synced to the CRM. So if I look at a customer profile, I can see if there's any meetings booked. Some of my clients will have several meetings booked in advance, especially if they work with us one-to-one. And also in the sales pipeline, in the Kanban view, I can just look at it. And it's always nice to see a little green or even a yellow if it's near to the time, little calendar icon in the corner, so I know that they're either booked or it's today or it's soon. Yeah, it's brilliant.
So we also implemented SalesIQ for Spaghetti, especially because they're a very content-driven company, and SalesIQ gives a great analytics as to where is it that people will pay a lot of attention to and then less attention to. So SalesIQ allows us to have that visibility and allows us to capture those metrics and then makes those business decisions to say, okay, let's change the website based on this data rather than just a little bit of a finger in the air. So yeah, SalesIQ is really good. When you, for example, launch a drip feed marketing campaign, as soon as you would see if they've opened that marketing campaign, so if they opened the email, they will then click on that email, take you to wherever it is, let's say your website. With SalesIQ, you're able to see and track that entire customer journey. So then when you have that conversation with the client or potential prospect, you will know what it is that they've been looking for. So they might say, oh, I'm slightly interested in this, when you know full well that they've spent, let's say 20 minutes on, it might be your SEO page, or it might be a particular page on your website that's more relatable. And I guess it then helps you to then define your questions and based on what it is that they've been looking at, because surely if they've been looking at one particular page, they will have an interest or a requirement around that. And SalesIQ will help you just have a much better understanding of that entire customer journey or that customer process or experience that you will have. So we used Zoho Form to capture leads details or contact details for people that were subscribing to something on our website. And then we use Zoho Flow to use as an automation tool as that middleware layer between their website and the CRM. And Zoho Flow captures the form and inputs all the details in the correct fields, so you'll match the fields into the CRM, so then it creates a deal automatically with the populated fields as part of the CRM. So it'll say, we know that this person with these requirements from the website has come from the Zoho form. So when you look in the CRM, you can see where is that deal being created from. So it's deal source, which Zoho Flow helps with, because a lot of times when you just have in Zoho form, you might just submit it and you won't know where it's come from. So whether that's come from a website or that's come from an email or a telephone that someone's picked up. But with Zoho Flow, we're able to capture property fields and integrate that directly into the CRM. So when you're looking back effectively and saying, where is most of our deals coming from? It will say website. So for a business owner, it's quite important to know where is your sales mostly driven from. And then, it's just an important metric to capture. In a CRM, you have a sales process, or a sales blueprint is what you guys call it. And in order for a deal to move to the next stage, it almost needs a trigger. So to say, has that been done? Yes, okay, that's the trigger, and then it moves. So let's say if it's awaiting for approval or waiting for it to be signed, once it gets signed, it moves on to the next stage, which is like follow up with the customer to say that it's been accepted. And the reason why we do that is so that you don't want someone to accept and sign the proposal and then no one reaches out to them. So we used Zoho Flow to integrate with Slack, so that when there was a particular notification of a deal being created, Zoho Flow picked up that trigger and capture all the information that's required to display into a Slack channel, so the guys at Spaghetti Agency will be able to pick it up and act on that notification.
What's really cool now is when a client accepts a proposal on Better Proposals, it drops us a Slack message in the right channel on Slack, and it also turns that opportunity into a one opportunity on the pipeline. So the whole thing is set up ready to go. So we're not having to discover it once a week that someone's signed up. We know immediately when they've signed up, so we can be really reactive with that client. We actually send them a bespoke email through a piece of software we use, so we just drop them a quick video message to say, hey, really excited, welcome to Spaghetti Agency. And it's that speed of response that's enabled via the Slack message that enables us to do that. And as an added bonus, actually, because the team have all got Slack on their mobiles, we all get excited when we're not here and we're not around. And if a client signs a proposal on a Sunday afternoon, the team are really chuffed about that. And that's just it's a real bonus to have that. That's something I didn't realise would be a good thing, but having it all linked together is amazing.
So originally, when we started the business about 10 years ago, we started with MailChimp, which I think is pretty okay when you're starting out and you don't maybe have a large list or you don't really know what you're doing. Then we had a problem with MailChimp and our data because somebody reported our email as spam, and unfortunately they stopped us from emailing our entire list. I think it was really important to us when we did this project that we had all of the apps in the same sort of suite and that everything would integrate properly with the CRM. So that's why we decided to go for the campaigns option with Zoho. So all of the emails that we do at the moment are all based on templates, basically because it makes our life easier, and it's also quite nice for the people who are receiving them to know what they're expecting and to have that familiarity of our brand. We purposely decide not to go too crazy with the design on our emails because we want them to be really all about the content and about the copy. We send two different things every week. We send our blog, which is our weekly update on what we're doing, something useful from the world of marketing, something that will help our audience. And then on a Friday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, we also send the Friday Digital Roundup. We've been sending that email since we've been going, really, and it's a quirky look at the world of digital, and it involves a lot of funny stories, and people tell us they really like it. Not a bye-bye, here's our sales pitch, buy our stuff kind of email. It's very much more along the lines of being entertaining and helpful. The user-friendliness of campaigns is really good. We didn't actually set up the templates because our IT partner Magnetar did it all for us, and they created it all, handed it over, and we could literally just put the copy in and start sending straight away. So that was a really helpful thing for us to have. In terms of if we change anything, so for example, at Christmas we'll change the Friday Digital Roundup heading to a Christmas themed one with, you know, various little illustrations of Christmas trees and things. It's very easy to do. I'm not massively technical. I understand enough, but I would say that sometimes I worry about the technical side of things, but I don't have a problem with campaigns. Happy to change an image, happy to change a link, happy to put the wording in, change the wording, edit the wording, send it, choose a list. It's pretty easy to use, and I'm really comfortable with it now, and it hasn't been that long. The back end of the subscribing process is something that it just takes care of itself, but obviously we can look at the lists, we can take people off if they want to be removed. Why they'd want to do that, I really don't know, because it's great. And we can sort of keep a track of the numbers going up, or what's happening with open rates and clicks and things like that. What I do like doing sometimes is if we have mentioned something that we're actually promoting, like if we're attending an expo or talking somewhere, sometimes I'll go through and see who's clicked on that link, and I might send them a separate little email or a phone call or some sort of message to say, I noticed you clicked on the link, is that a slip of the finger, or is it something that you're actually interested in? Do you want to have a chat about it? So there's lots of different ways that we can use the data, but make it more personal rather than just being a faceless company. So every Tuesday we have a directors meeting, and in that meeting we look at all the sort of key metrics that we're interested in for that week. So we tend to look at the subscriber numbers, just check that everything's going in the right direction. If there's a particularly interesting campaign, we might have a look through and actually click through into the detail, see who's had a look, just because we're curious and nosy and we like to know that sort of information. So we have an automated onboarding series. So when somebody signs up, it triggers a series of emails with an interval in between them. This is basically a really good introduction into Spaghetti Agency. We let them know a little bit more about us and our story, why we're here, who we help, let them know about the various different services that we offer, and we let them know roughly on the price points as well. So I think it's quite important for them to have a good idea of who we are and what we do, and roughly where they would sit as a client, depending on what they want. So because we're quite a busy agency, we do quite a lot of different things. So some of them might want training or consultancy. Some people might want us to do everything for them, or they might, sit somewhere in between the two. So when people are onboarded onto our email, it's quite good for them to have an understanding of who we are and what we do and how we can help them. So we run a Facebook group called Spaghetti Besties. It's very much an informal networking, chatting type group for people to meet and offer support to each other and get help. Maybe they might want a referral, they might need to know where the nearest graphic designer is, anything like that. So it's there's about 3,000 people in there, so it's quite a nice little community. When people join that group, we do a little bit of data gathering, so we'll get their email address and we'll find out what, if anything, they're having any specific problems with in terms of their marketing. That data gets fed into the CRM, and then we can also add them to the onboarding email sequence from the CRM. So it's really good to be able to just tick a box and know that those emails will go to those people in the right order, in a tailored way, so we know the information that they're getting, and they know a little bit more about us as well. I'm pretty confident that all the privacy and GDPR boxes are ticked when we use campaigns. There's a very easy unsubscribe button. If anyone for any reason would like to unsubscribe, then they can do, and we know that we've gathered all the data in the right way. Before we started using People, we basically had a bit of a hodgepodge of information in different places, which wasn't necessarily very secure, and it really wasn't very easy for me to find the information I wanted. So I might know that someone's birthday's coming up, but I didn't really know when it was because it wasn't available information for me. I also wrote our one-to-one notes in my iPhone actually, which again, not particularly secure. Some of the things that we talk about are quite confidential in those one-to-ones, and it really should be somewhere safe where I know that no one else can access each other's data. So we moved over to Zoho People and I transferred the information in. Now it's really nice because I can get an overall picture of everybody's information and data, and I know that no one else can see it. So it's also great because I can make a record of things that we need to know, like computer identification numbers and all the sort of technical stuff that probably doesn't matter very much, but it needs to be kept somewhere safe. I've also got everybody's contracts in there, so if anyone asks me a question like what their annual leave is, or if they have any questions about home working or any specific part of their contract, I can easily just access their contract rather than digging around in a Dropbox, which is what I would have had to do before. So it's much easier to manage the people side of things now. If I was meeting someone who is responsible for HR in their company, I would definitely recommend that they start using People, or just looking at the possibilities that it's got, because it's so flexible and there really are hundreds of things you can do, and you can either keep it really simple, just put a bit of information in there, or you can really go for it and use the time tracking side of things and the project logging and all that kind of stuff. So it's really up to you how much or how little you use. So yeah, if I was networking, if I'm out and about, I'm always recommending Zoho, and the People section is really helpful for me.